gonna save that. Okay, welcome back to Sliders Podcast. I'm your host, Who's Taff, find it on the pod, aka the champion. And who else we got in the studio?
Got your boy, What is Tom, aka
We're still doing
King
this.
of the Streets, aka Find Out on the Streets. No, that's it.
You disgust me. You and Mo disgust me.
That was shocking.
And we got a special guest today in the building. I don't normally do these intros, yeah, but
I deserve it.
like this one, he was in, like, if you haven't listened to our audio episodes, this is background Marshall in
Shout
the
out to
flesh.
Spotify. Shout out to Spotify.
Shout out to the Spotify. If you haven't seen the audio, go listen to the audio.
Those are old episodes.
Yeah, this was,
did
it's been a year.
we even release some of these episodes?
Basically,
Yeah.
I'm an OG. I'm an
I know
OG.
some of them be recording the first year.
Yeah, I even forgot to say that. These, bro, when Sliders was a prototype, before we even came up with the name, we had Terrell on the podcast.
I was there before the glow up.
Yeah. So
Before
then
the
when we
glow up.
even started the audio, yeah, this was time ago. But now, live in the flesh, we got
I just
background
realized
Marshall in
you
the building.
introduced me already as my name by
Yeah,
accident.
it doesn't matter. I
No,
mean,
but we didn't say you in the first time. We just
Yeah.
said
No, he
background
did.
Marshall.
He did.
oh,
he did.
this is disorganized. Now, background Marshall, now foreground Marshall, and he goes uni. Yeah.
What's that?
Who knew he would get an education?
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know what that even
And would you
means.
like to introduce yourself, sir?
All right, yeah. So I'm Terrell. I go to Newcastle University. I study psychology and mathematics. I'm entering my third year, and I'm 21 years old from London.
Okay.
And you know what's funny as well, actually?
Wait,
I say I do psychology and
wasn't part of
mathematics. Wait, I say I do psychology and mathematics, but if I'm talking to like someone in charge of a firm or anyone with like some sort of position, I'll say maths first
What?
because it holds a bit of weight.
Older?
Yeah, because I'll say I do maths and psychology because
Is
it's
it
like,
not like, even if you say psychology, is it not like, or is it just,
no, but
you have to
no,
start the high?
no, like exactly.
Oh.
If I say maths and psychology and you kind of zone out like to joint honors,
Mm-hmm.
you'll think, oh, he does psychology with maths. So it's like it's not big. But if I say maths and psychology, it's like,
Yeah.
oh shit, this guy does maths at uni. So yeah,
Fair
I do maths and psychology in it.
Okay, so you do a joint honors, and the joint honors you do, there aren't that many of them. So how do you come about picking that and picking Newcastle University as well?
Yeah, so I remember it pretty well. I was in Mr. Fowler's room. Shout out Mr. Fowler from school.
Okay, what school did you go to?
King's College in London. It's in Wimbledon.
Okay.
And I was originally going to do maths and sports science because basically I wanted to stick with maths as a fact because I just felt like I held weight in like the working world. Like, I feel like if you just say, oh, I'll do maths at uni, people will be like, oh, I'll hire you. So I wanted to do maths. I was really going to do sports science because I just wanted something with maths. I didn't want to do straight maths. And sports science, I like sport, I like basketball. So I was like, oh, that might be cool. But there's too much biology and that A-level biology. If anyone did A-level
Sports
biology,
science.
Oh, we not good about it.
hey, if anyone did A-level biology, yo, you know the pain.
Disgusting.
Yo, I'm never doing that again. But yeah, then just randomly came across maths and psychology and maths. And I think only 3 unis did it. It was Newcastle, Durham, and Reading. But when I found it, I'd already dropped further maths. So for Durham, you need to do further maths to do that degree in Durham. So I couldn't go to Durham. So it was either Newcastle or Reading. So then there was like a long period of time of like, do I do this course because I want to do it? Or do I do a different course and go to like a better uni just because it's a better uni, just for the sake of it? So for a period of time, I was deciding between doing psychology, just straight psychology, because I knew I wasn't going to do straight maths because I think like I'm good enough at maths to do a uni in it, like half a degree up. But straight maths is mad. Like that's mad. So
What is math like? What when you enter university maths, like what are the levels? Like how's it different from A level to that? Like, what is that step like?
Tough, I'm not gonna lie. I saw the syllabus from one of my friends, and he showed me some of his work. I was like, boy,
Because I know it sometimes looks like hieroglyphs, fam. Hieroglyphs, like
yeah, I mean, I don't know.
it looks like what?
hieroglyphs. Okay, well done, well done.
That's
Egyptian
what I got
hieroglyphs. Can you say it?
Hieroglyphics.
Hieroglyphics,
not
yeah.
right.
Okay,
It's a
I'm not
hard
gonna.
Hieroglyphics. Oh no, it's not low, but
Yeah,
Hieroglyphics.
hieroglyphics. You know them ones where you got the people in the odd shapes. That's what like a university maths looks like to me. Like you don't even do it like regular maths. You have to like touch it and try and transcribe.
Man said grab it and tap it.
Like, probably just try and understand it.
But no, like you're probably talking about the Greek letters that they use. Right, I'm
yeah.
assuming.
Something. Like
Yeah.
no. He's talking about the actual Egyptians. One where
No,
pictures represent
as in
words.
like in maths, you use Greek letters. So I'm assuming the
yeah.
shapes and
Like,
stuff is
where
Greek letters.
math stopped being numbers.
Why do you say math like you're American? In England, we say maths. What's wrong with you?
Maths. I
wrong-
go in
wrong with this
between. But yeah, so what is it like taking that step?
I'd say it's pretty much like if you did further maths, your first semester is probably going to be alright. So because I did in A level, I did like the first year of further maths. So the first semester for some modules were pretty easy. It was pretty much just what I did for A level.
Yeah, so the first semester is usually like a recap.
Yeah. It's kind of to get everyone up to speed, but no one ever really gets up to speed. If you're ahead, you're always ahead, in my opinion, anyway. Because it's just difficult, especially from second year onwards. I'd say it's very, very doable. That's the thing I'll say about maths. It's always doable. It's never not doable. Especially right now with COVID, it's like 24-hour exams. But it's just hard. Like if you generally don't get something, it's peak. Like if you don't get something at one point in the course, for the rest of that module, it's just peak. So like even right now, I'm looking at something, I'm thinking like I just zoned out in like a lecture / like recapping, and I just don't understand anything next. So it's one of those things you kind of need to always know what's going on.
So it's a bit like Jenga in that you're always building.
Jenga? You mean Jenga? Yo, I don't know what's wrong with this
Is this
guy.
going to be the whole episode?
I don't know what's wrong with this brother.
Jesus. But like, so if you miss that one piece, the tower's not towering, it just falls off.
Yeah, to an extent, yeah, pretty much. That's what I say, yeah.
All right. And then psychology as well. Did you have a similar experience with psychology, or?
Yeah, I'd say if you do A-level psychology, because a lot of people actually didn't do psychology at A-level or IB or whatever. So that first semester, in fact, I'd say the whole first year, if you did it for A-level, I honestly think you're fine. Like, I'll be honest, don't know who's watching, hope your family's not watching, but I didn't really pay that much attention the first year. But my knowledge from A-levels, because I did bang out A-level psychology pretty hard. It carried. Hard carried. Yo, that carried me like fucking LeBron on the Lakers. It carried me heavy. It carried me heavy.
I trust it's relevant.
No, it carried me. But it's once again very doable. But obviously that's me talking from my experience. I don't know. I know other people struggle quite a lot. So, but I think with uni, everything's doable. There's nothing that's not doable in my opinion.
So joint honours. So where did you find your crossover? Was there a crossover between those two subjects?
So I'd say the crossover is only really in statistics. So psychology does both statistics, which for me is like my bread and butter. Like if I had a module on just psychology statistics, and for me doing math statistics at uni and coming back to doing this little psychology, it was my easiest exam I've probably done in uni, I'd say. I can't remember what I got. I think I got around like, actually, do I even reveal what I got in case people look at me like, oh, is that what you got? But I think I got around like 80 in that one, in my final exam, which was worth like 8%. So like that was pretty good.
You say 80% worth 80%?
Yeah, 8%. Like the exams are, for my section of the joint honours, so for people who don't understand, so with the joint honours, you literally do 50% maths, 50% psychology for me. And I don't get much choice in terms of my modules because there's compulsory modules you have to do to be accredited. So my whole first year is compulsory. My whole second year was also compulsory. Same with, like, on both sides of the course. So everything was compulsory. The only thing with maths is you choose your pathway. So I chose the statistics pathway just because applied maths, that's when you get your little pictures and all that crazy stuff. Like for me, that's a bit too much for me. But
and when you
statistics
say
are like,
compulsory, is it you have to pass the first time? Or is it you get a chance to resit? Because I know some exams.
I assume you get a chance to resit. Unfortunately, I've never been in that position. But if you don't pass it. Oh, in fact, sorry. What I mean by compulsory actually is that what I meant in the context I said it is that you have to do that module. So I didn't mean it in terms of compulsory that you have to pass it because you have to pass everything anyway. I'm pretty sure in uni full stop. No.
Some modules can be non-compensational.
Some courses you can get ahead. You can go to the next year without actually passing all the
Swear.
modules. Yeah, but for me,
I've never seen.
You know what?
I'm an engineering student. I have to. For me, it's pass everything. There's no you can leave that one out.
You know, I think the reason I don't know that, or the reason I'm not aware of that, is because all my modules are compulsory. Because they're compulsory, you have to pass them as well. So it's a two-way thing where you have to do it and you have to pass it. So maybe in my final year, if I fail a module, it's not important because it's not compulsory. Well, not obviously it's important, but it's not do or die. But at least for the first 2 years, you have to pass everything minimum, and you have to do it. Like you don't get flexibility for the first year.
So then again, joint honours, two different worlds and courses. What was the classroom like for you?
I said the classroom like I'm in school.
Don't
Don't disrespect me like that.
The lecture room. Like, what was that like? Was it two different hallways? Were you seeing two different people? Or were you around the same people doing joint honours?
The best way to kind of describe it is for psychology and maths, or maths and psychology, if you're trying to hire, my group, there was only like 10 to 15 of us. So it was a very, very small like cohort. But obviously we were also put into psychology and maths with our modules. So as I said, there's only 15 of us, but then around 10, 15. Psychology, 80% girls. Like, just, you walk in, it's just girls. I was surprised. It's funny because people always said, oh, you chose psychology for the girls, isn't it? Yeah. No, I didn't. I actually like the subject.
But that's one of the stereotypes that's true, isn't it? Psychology, just bare girls.
Oh, and I was speaking of stereotypes, one of these other episodes, that Lawrence guy he did, he was like, oh, psychology people are cool. What was that?
What? No, he was like, psychology people are known as like the cool kids. And then what's funny about the episode too, Lawrence was like, chances are if you do computer science, you're a weirdo and autistic like me. And that's fine. And then someone commented, like, someone commented and timestamped that part and said, well, like, what am I? Yeah, what am I? That's what gives you funny.
But yeah, with psychology, it's 80% girls, I'd say. Maths is, I'd say 70% guys. So it's very different. Like the two rooms are literally completely different. I say the personalities are pretty different as well. I wouldn't say anything. I wouldn't say it's bad. I get on with everyone, but I feel like that's kind of just how I work.
And did you notice diversity much as far as race goes? Because gender, you've said, but
yeah. I think with diversity, you need to be kind of careful, just because, like, if you look at it like this, right? So in England, as a country, it's 87.5% white.
There's 3% black people.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
So this recently.
So yeah, exactly.
There's actually just 3.
Wait. So there's 3% black people in England.
Yeah.
You then go to London, where I'm from.
And 50% of them are in London, you know? Bro.
Oh, is it? Oh, is that
no,
facts,
bro.
yes?
I looked at the census. It hasn't updated yet.
Yeah, it's from 2011, innit?
Yeah, this was 2011.
Like
so I don't know if the numbers have changed, but what we're working off now, 50% of them are in London. Yeah. That's how I looked at the numbers and I said,
exactly. So now when you think about that, so 50% of the 3%, as you said, is in London. You now come to Newcastle, where there's going to be less black people than Manchester, Birmingham. Do you know what I mean? So realistically, you shouldn't even expect many black people anyway. Yeah. So when I tell you that there's not many black people in my course, that should be expected. I don't go DMU, I don't go Coventry, I don't go none of them. Do you know what I mean? So there's really just there's a couple ambiguous people. You know, the people you don't talk to, you think, I feel like you've got a hint of melanin in you, but I can't. No. You know the ones. Yeah. There's a couple of them, but I'd say there's no more than on maths. I know there's one other black guy, and I'd say there's maybe 4 or 5.
And other races as well, like not just black.
In maths, there's a lot of Asian, and by Asian I just mean the whole of Asia. I don't want to specify because I can't really break it down. But there's quite a lot of Asian people in maths. There's still way more white people, obviously. And then in psychology, obviously we haven't been in lectures for a year, so it's kind of hard to even remember. But it's mainly just white people, really. Mainly just white girls, mostly. Just the demographics are kind of what you'd expect in Newcastle, really.
Okay.
I'd say it's worse in a course like engineering or worse in a course like medicine. Because as in terms of the wake up! What's wrong with this guy? I'm talking.
No, sorry, I was looking.
Sorry. Okay.
But anyway, sorry. Because the thing is, it was coming in, and I heard something engineering.
And then you woke up.
That's me. I'm
No. But no, what I'm saying is that there's fewer like black people on my course than in like engineering or like medicine or something like that.
No black people.
But I think that's because like the stereotype. It's not even a stereotype. It's pretty much true. But like black people go into this type of thing.
Certain types of fields.
Yeah. So like my thing, black people don't go into. Like I remember I went to some networking event and they were just like, "Why did you choose that? Like black people don't do that." And it's like. Yeah. Okay, what's your point?
Yeah, you do hear those conversations. Like, if you said psychology, it'd be like, what job are you getting with psychology? So that's pretty much the first question. Like,
no, the first thing I get is, oh, can you read my mind? Or some stupid shit like that.
Oh, I meant like as far as like black people and those type of jobs we go into, anything that's outside doctor, lawyer, mechanic, they'll ask you, okay, what job are you getting with this?
Yeah, and the thing is, the reason I chose my subjects is because of I was looking into the future. Like I was never interested in like medicine or being a doctor. I don't like biology. Engineering, never really cared about. What's the other one? Law. I just feel like law is too much reading. It's just long in it. So I was never interested. For me, I chose maths, as I said before, because it opens pretty much all the doors. Like if you do maths, people will look at you and think, okay, this guy's got something. Like, you know, problem solving or just good at maths, blah, blah, blah. And I like maths. It's been my favorite subject since I was like 4. And then psychology, I felt I was good at it at A level, very good at it. And then I felt that would also give me a different aspect. So where maths, people may think, okay, he's overly analytical, he's overly, solve this, solve that. Very.
They might think you're part of the Lawrence.
Very methodical. Part of the Lawrence school.
team.
Part of the computer science, man. No, I'm not gonna. Anyway, I love computer science, but yeah, they might think you're too like methodical and you're not open
Social,
to nothing to do with social, just like how your mind works. Like you're very fix this.
You're
sort
less
that.
abstract.
Yeah, I can't think of the words.
What's the other one? Pragmatic, maybe?
No, let's just forget the words.
Man said
words aren't working today.
Man said the thesaurus.
The words aren't wording. The words aren't wording.
Man stayed up at night, making sure he gets them words in.
Okay, well
Man said pragmatic.
It's nice to know you're awake.
Still pragmatic time.
Yo, this guy said that you're reading the dictionary in the morning. But anyway,
but that leads us
and then
on to
psychology also adds a different aspect. It makes people think, or the perception of you is that, okay, this guy's more open-minded, more, thinks about people, things more. If that makes, do you get what I mean? Like two different dynamics, and it kind of makes you more appealing to, different audiences, which in my mind meant I have loads of job opportunities.
But that leads us on to the next thing about job opportunities. So what was your long-term goal? Like, so you said it leaves you open to a lot of opportunities, but do you have anything in mind in particular? For someone that's doing joint honors, like, there's a lot of opportunities, and when you have a lot of opportunities, it's hard to pick something. So what things did you look into that you can use your skills?
Yeah, I'd say the most important thing is how you present yourself. So in certain audiences, I'll use certain parts of my degree background. I don't really use my degree much because in hindsight, it doesn't help you as much as you think. For if you're an engineer, you do engineering, that's different. But I'm not doing psychology and maths to go and do psychology and maths or to go and do maths, do you know what I mean? So you kind of have to use your degree background to kind of poke at certain things that will make you seem appealing. But in terms of jobs and things like that, are you asking more my plan before uni, or are you talking about right now, for example?
Your plan before now, how that journey in terms of what you wanted to do after uni, from the beginning to now.
I mean, part of the reason I chose my degree is because I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I just put myself out there. Just what I do in general. I feel like I just put myself out there for everything. So I signed up to. Actually, do you remember? I'm talking so informally, but do you remember that group chat when I made the group chat for black people?
The one that you titled Planet of the Apes.
Oh, what? I didn't do that. Don't try it. No, I didn't title it that.
It was your group chat.
I didn't title it that. Mum was like, no. Mum, I love you. Your life's safe. No. I did not title it that. It was, I don't know who it was. It was one of them people who we don't even see in Newcastle. But he titled it that.
All I'm saying,
I made the group chat.
That was you.
No. What was your title?
Oh, I can't say on camera.
There you go. It's even worse.
It was Newcastle something in it. And it was alliteration. That's what I need to say. But, do you remember?
You titled the Newcastle niggas, didn't you?
I don't know. Anyway.
There goes advertising.
Yeah,
this shit isn't monetized, bro.
So there goes my job opportunities. What's wrong with you? You're ruining everything. But anyway, this is just theory. But so from that group chat, someone put in I think it was called it's Rare Recruitment. And they just said it's basically an organization which help black people get into high end or high industry jobs and stuff like that. They help with your CVs, with trying to reach out to employers and stuff like that. So when I got into, I kind of just did it on a whim. They just put it in the group chat. I was like, I'll just do it. Why not? And then he got back to me, and then went to an interview, blah blah blah. Got into the organization, and from there they kind of gave me opportunities to go to law firms. I don't really care about law, so it didn't really mean much. But it was cool to go. I went to Freshfields, I think it was. They also gave me the opportunity to go to JP Morgan, the investment bank, which I was really interested in. The only thing with that is with investment banking, you need a lot of knowledge, especially if you don't do finance. And I didn't have that knowledge, and I was very aware of it. So I kind of strategically knew that, okay, realistically, I'm not going to get into investment banking for multiple reasons. And also, can I sustain the lifestyle of an investment banker? Because
70 hours.
The hours are crazy. And I like to sleep, and I like my spare time. I do a lot of stuff in my spare time. So
you play Pokemon.
Okay, wait, hold on. If you
NBA
want to list Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh,
F1.
Anime, F1, basketball in real life, because these guys talking about
the maddest things in his spare time, bro. You play game.
Wait. Oh, don't try. Games, sport,
That's
president
another
of
form of
societies.
game.
Don't try it. Don't try and minimize this shit. If I send it to you, man, right now. Wait, hold on. Okay, hold on. What do you guys do in your spare time?
Right now, I'm designing the go-kart.
Wait, don't try it. We going up for his birthday. Okay, listen.
You got me a toolbox for my birthday.
Yeah, and when was your birthday?
A week or two ago.
A week or two ago. So what were you doing in your spare time before that?
Working.
Oh, this guy's... You know what? I'm tired of this guy. Tap, what do you do in your spare time?
I'm not here for us.
What do you do in your spare time?
This
These man are bums. I'm telling you right now.
Man's actually designed the go-kart. You're playing Yu-Gi-Oh. You're playing with fucking Pikachu.
Wait, hold on. Should I tell you what I've been doing in my spare time?
Man, squirt on them, man.
I secured myself an internship.
Oh, perfect.
Got myself an internship.
That was weeks ago.
Yeah. Wait, hold on.
Let's read it back.
Listen. You're saying I play games. I can't do more than play games. Nah, I'm not having this.
Every time I'm there, it's fucking Pokemon.
He's not letting it go.
I don't even play Pokemon that much, but I like Pokemon. But I don't play it that much, man. Yeah,
Your internship.
Oh yeah, so I was kind of telling the story really of how I got into it, but so with JP Morgan, and it's not with JP Morgan, but I kind of networked with a couple of people who worked there. We had a lot of conversations. They kind of helped me develop my CV, develop my kind of the way I present myself in an interview situation. And then from that point onwards, I just used it, applied to loads of places. The application process is just long. So this was in second year. I just finished my internship. It's just long. What are you guys doing? From the corner of my eye, all I saw was people touching each other. I was like, are you guys doing this?
I literally just tapped.
He's never done this before.
What, first time too?
Do you want to ask the...
Because listen, the thing is, I don't know what the questions are, so I'm literally just here wondering what you're going to say next.
Yeah.
Wait, you don't have to just bounce off.
Yeah, you're just meant to add the wild card questions. You're not meant to know.
Because I've done this, but I did it on my own.
Oh.
So I don't know.
I don't know why we're saying, like we're letting him off.
Because I'm not in the room when...
You're just meant to ask like the random questions.
I'm not in the room when you and Mo do this.
True.
I'm not in the room in general.
How professional.
Yeah.
How professional.
Now the questions, Tom.
but yeah, as I was saying before, I got sidetracked. But so I just applied to loads of places. I used Bright Network to apply because they have loads of different companies which are on their website where they say like deadlines and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I applied to like... I was interested in investment banks as organizations, but not to be an investment banker, but to work within them. So I was looking at HR or like human capital management within investment banks. So I was applying to like Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan for that. I got to both of their assessment centers. For JP Morgan, I just flopped. Yeah. And for Goldman Sachs, I got the final interview, but I then received my internship from EY for assurance, which is audit. So basically like, accounting. So I, turned down that final interview because I'm not going to risk. Imagine I get an internship offer from EY, like one of the big four. I turn it down to gamble on Goldman Sachs.
True.
And then I don't get it. Like, do you know how peak that would be?
Yeah, risk reward, isn't it? Like,
if anyone watches basketball, it's another basketball reference. But some guy, he had I think he was offered 80 million, but he won at 85 million or something like that. And he's now got 5 mil. Like he fumbled the bag heavy. Imagine fumbling the bag that deep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could have fumbled the bag, but I didn't. So but yeah, that's the situation right now. So I just finished my internship. And if I'm honest, the course helped only with the maths section of it. So a lot of things you apply to, often your course won't actually matter. Like a lot of companies are much more open to just employing people who, kind of fit the mold, or they're intriguing people, or people who show that they're willing to learn, enthusiastic and things of that sort. Obviously, unless you're doing engineering, you have to do an engineering degree. Yeah. Doctor, you have to do medicine. Do you know what I mean? But for a lot of jobs such as like even law, I've seen someone I knew actually. I think she studied history. I mean, obviously, people know history goes into law often, but obviously that's not law, and they got into law. So yeah, with like accounting or with a lot of just jobs, you don't really need to do you don't need business management to go into business management. Do you know what I mean? You just need to be a certain person or just appealing to an employer. So that's what I kind of learned. Through
it's more about your
extracurricular kind of things
than your academics. Is it
experience-ish in terms of if an interviewer asks you a question like, "Tell me a time when," or like if you can bring up good experiences or good examples, then that's good. But honestly, I wouldn't even say experiences are as important as I'd say social media makes out. Like those memes where it's like those little kids in the Bobby Builder suit, whatever, talking about 12 years experience, but you're 3 years old. I honestly think that's over exaggerated.
No, so I mean experiences in the sense like you say you don't need that specific specified degree for a specific job role. It's more about you as a person. So would you need experiences that contribute to?
Oh, that's what you meant.
So
sorry,
like,
I thought you meant
example, if you
experiences.
maybe have started up a t-shirt company, so you have some business like stuff that you've done personally.
Or if you started up a podcast.
That's me.
us, my nigga.
You should have said it too.
Nigga said that's nigga said that's me.
But yeah, so like extracurricular stuff like that.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, when you said experiences, I thought you meant
yeah,
like work experience in the direct field. Yeah, absolutely. So for me, I was fortunate enough in uni to be ACS president for like a year. Why this guy's smiling?
Tom, you were ACS president too.
Yes, I was.
Yeah, and I was fortunate enough to obviously be in my basketball team, and employers kind of like sport. I'll be honest, I don't really fully get it. I understand it's like team spirit, but I don't know. I feel like it's a bit of a cop out. But
No, but to be fair, you do learn a lot by I don't know, maybe because people's skills kind of come easier to you. You don't realize what you're actually learning by all the skills and characteristics you're using while you're playing on the court and just practice as well. So maybe like, because set people, they may not have them people skills, so playing on a team might be a lot more difficult for them.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it might be one of those ones that there are certain characteristics you must have to thrive in a team type of situation.
Yeah, and success is always important. So I was lucky to like win the league and the cup with Newcastle Uni 2 years ago actually.
It's life flex.
So yeah, no, as in it's just speaking. Are you not talking to me? Yeah, drink your drink, man, before you spit it out and embarrass yourself on camera. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with this guy? Look at him.
Tom, behave. Composure.
What do you say before the composure? You know when Dave says composure.
Yeah.
This guy's none of it.
Composure, lads.
Composure.
None of that, man.
Okay, but now moving on to the next section of the conversation / interview. More about your day-to-day in studying, right? So do you have any unique studying methods just to you as a student?
I think obviously since I'm representing joint honours, I think it's important to note that I think one of the positives as well with joint honours is that because you have two very different subjects in most cases, or a lot of cases, you also have different studying methods for each one, and I think that makes studying a bit more manageable, because I know not everyone likes to study. Like no one really likes to study too much unless you're researching something you love. But yeah, for me with maths, it's very much just, everyone kind of knows maths, you just do loads of questions, but in uni it actually gets a bit, from my experience anyway, it's a bit more difficult because there's not as easy access to loads of questions like for A-level or GCSE. So you kind of have to, you really do have to kind of understand what you're being taught. So a lot of what we learn is a lot of proofs, a lot of like nitty-gritty. So like I think like when you go through a lecture, if you're revising, you're gonna go through it and realize that most of it you won't really need for the exam, but if you don't know it, you're not gonna get the answer right, or you're not gonna understand what they're asking you, because you're not really gonna get, it's not like in A-level, just derive this and you just have a million things to derive or integrate. You won't get that in uni. You'll get questions where you need to figure out what the meaning of it is, and then you use a formula they've given you maybe, or things like that.
Do past papers still work?
Yeah, there's past papers and they're useful though. Obviously they're useful, but there's not as many as like in A-level. I remember there was maths and physics, whatever that website was. I could go all the way to 2005 and do the January papers and the June papers. I used to do that for A-levels. Can't do that for uni. You have to really like intrinsically understand it. So yeah, that's kind of maths. And then with psychology, it's kind of hard for me to even explain how to revise for psychology. It's very much, it depends how they examine you, because, so for example, one of my exams wasn't really an exam. I had a video essay. You guys remember when I did the video essay? So I did the stop motion kind of video. It was on personality types and things of that sort.
Can we play it on the?
Yeah. I'll send it to you after, innit?
We can do a little clip. That shit's like 8 minutes long.
5 minutes. 5 minutes.
We can put it on like the bottom corner or something. Or
just put it on the screen. So that is something. Obviously, that was I think 100% of my 80% of my overall mark. That's obviously not really an exam, so you don't really revise for that. You just do it. It's like a what's the word?
Assignment.
Yeah, it's an assignment. And then in first year, I'm not sure what it is for other joint honours or other courses, blah blah blah. But we had multiple choice questions, and like that was beautiful. And that was, I think that was 100% of the exam actually. Yeah. It was mad. Just multiple choice. So for that, you obviously like, I'm just being realistic. You don't need to revise this heavily because it's multiple choice, but you need to understand what what you've done, like reading through a couple times, maybe doing the extra stuff they give you. The extra stuff's always good, especially if you kind of like the subject. That will help. And then now I have a couple essays, and that's kind of learning how to write an essay.
Do you have much practice in that?
No, that's the thing, and that's the problem with joint honours. I'd say is that I remember when we started, I can't remember what module it was, but the people who do normal psychology, just single honor psychology, they already did that module before, or something very similar to it. So they kind of had an advantage. Obviously, they kind of marketed it to us as, oh, everyone's going to catch up within the first 2 weeks, but they already knew how to write an essay. They already knew like the fundamentals of the topic. So it was a bit more difficult. And I think that's kind of where joint honors becomes difficult. I mean, I know it's not really the question, but one of the difficulties is the kind of balance between the two subjects. Sometimes they don't communicate very well between departments. So the reason I'm psychology and maths, not maths and psychology, is because I'm in the psychology department. Even though it's 50-50, I'm in that department. So my tutor's psychology, my dissertation psychology, and things of that sort. So that's kind of where it gets difficult. So for example, like you could, on rare occasions, which they do a good job to like sort out very quickly, but I had an maths exam and a psychology exam on the same day at the same time. And that's just like, you can't do that. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was during COVID, so it's different, you know, it's the take home 24-hour exam, but that shouldn't be happening. So they changed it for me very quickly, but that's an example of how communication is often difficult between
different departments.
Yeah, and sometimes if you need something done quickly, you have to go through psychology to get to maths. Like sometimes it's hard to know who you're meant to reach out to. To be fair, they make it very clear, and it's probably just me being lazy. I just email my tutor because me and her get on really well. Shout out Helen. But yeah, with psychology, it just depends on what the exam is, really. You know, essays different, multiple choice is different, you know, video essays, not even, do you know what I mean? So.
Okay. Are there any major obstacles you encountered in your course?
I'd say major obstacle really is that balance. I think when I first started uni, I had the unrealistic expectation or thought that I go to every single lecture. Although you should, like you just should really. But there's an element of reality, like just keeping 100. I would fall asleep in some lectures. no, there's no point capping.
Ignored that suggestion.
What?
It's a suggestion.
Tap
Like,
ignored
lectures
that
are
suggestion.
What? Like you should go to lectures.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
It's a suggestion. I go to my lectures. Yeah.
You're barely enrolled,
Wait,
bro.
hold on. This guy doesn't even know it's called a fucking lecture room. He said to me a classroom. He doesn't know nothing.
Fam,
He
Tap's
don't know nothing
barely
about
enrolled
uni.
at this
I don't even know how this guy's
The
talking
guy-
on this
the guy's
podcast.
just flowing through
I said,
uni.
ask a student. He's asking for himself.
Yeah, I need to know. Teach me.
I said, teach me.
But yeah.
But sorry, repeat the question. My bad.
Apologies, listener. I'm so sorry you guys had to hear that.
Yeah, repeat the question, please.
I was
careful,
thrown
big
off. But in terms of major obstacles.
Oh yeah. And what was I talking? Oh yeah, I was talking about So I think understanding the balance. So with some of my maths modules, I didn't need to go into the lectures because sometimes they go too quickly. So some lectures will go quickly, you can't catch up. So almost trying to write, but you can't catch up. You're not really paying attention to what you're writing to. You're just trying to catch up. You then have that false thought that you've done well. You spend an hour working. Like you know, I've put in work today.
Yeah.
I've gone to a lecture, an hour of notes, but you don't know any of it.
Yeah.
And that was definitely a problem for me at the start. I then learned that I need to make sure that what I do with purpose. So if I go to a lecture, it's with purpose, and I will try not to fall asleep.
Fair enough.
But yeah, like I'd say psychology lectures for me, you go to and I don't think you should make notes. I think you should just go there, try and understand it from what they're saying verbally, and then when you come back later, you can do your own research because what you learn is interesting. Like I do because I actually enjoy it. You do your own research, you go over the lecture, and then you can make extra notes. I'm not really a note taker for psychology. I don't know why. It doesn't mean anything to me. Like just writing stuff down. I don't know. I just do better by just doing it whenever I want, if that makes sense. But then with maths, I think once again, it depends on your lecturer. Like sometimes, in some situations, they give you like a booklet, which is fantastic. Like the booklets are beautiful. Like it'll be a booklet where you just fill it out as the lecture goes through. You have example questions in the booklet. You have the whole course in the booklet. Like it's just sexy. Like it's just amazing. Those lectures are the best. You just go to, you do the notes, and you kind of, for me anyway, when it's like that, I get it quite well because I can see what's coming next. I can read what they've just said because it's right there in front of me. But then some math lecturers, they just say, okay, copy what I'm doing. And there's no booklet. And those ones, it's a bit more difficult. Like, I'd say, I don't know whether it's just because that maths module is difficult in itself anyway, because everyone finds it difficult. But that kind of method of teaching and whatnot, I just find it a bit more difficult.
Yeah, I agree with the way you broke down, like just taking stuff in lectures. Because I remember first week, I think I might have said it in a previous high school student, where it's like, I can't do this and this. Like you're talking and I'm trying to follow you. Like I'm not taking anything in because your mind is just preoccupied writing this to be listening to the next slide he's talking about. So then I sort of treated lectures as 2 sets of revision. You go to the lecture, you take it in. That's the first time you take in that information. Is Tom sleeping?
I'm listening.
No, it's because we know you're chatting shit. Yo, I'm talking to take it.
I thought this guy was.
You sound like an amazing
I'm not
member,
gonna lie,
but
as
this
soon
is some
as
BS.
you stopped, I was gonna say that lasted 1 week.
well done.
But yeah, keep
this is
talking.
for someone else
This
that
is
wants-
golden. This is golden.
But yeah. So you go to your first lecture. You go to the lecture. That's when you take in the first bit of information. That's the first time you take it in, and then you go back to the slide in your own time. So you're recapping. You're taking in the information twice rather than trying to get it all done once, and you're not really understanding everything. Oh,
Wait, oh no, I was being serious. Mom, I was being serious.
Alright, let's go to the next question. Let's go to the next
What
question.
I want to say is, well,
You're
though,
dropping gems.
then take them yourself. Pick up your own gems. Pick up your own gems. You could be a rich man. You could be a rich man.
You tap.
Look
Last
at this
time you
guy.
did this was Freshers Week, first year, big man.
And
That's so
the
important.
lectures in Freshers Week weren't even real. They
weren't
were
real.
introductory.
They were intro lectures, bro. I swear all our actual work started second week.
Yeah, for me.
I'm trying to give advice to the younger people, fam. Don't be like Tom. You have to go
I
out
go
there
to
and
my
your
lectures. Tav, I actually care about my course.
But yeah,
Man's
sorry.
out here doing extracurricular activities, Tav.
You know,
I beg, what's the personal tutor's name?
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
that's
mad.
not important.
I wanted to touch on something though. One thing I noticed in psychology, they just bring out their laptops and they start tap, 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 tap. Don't panic. Just do your own thing because people will just. Tap, 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 tap. I don't know what they're doing.
typing.
I've watched people on their laptop. Tap, tap, there's nothing. They're not doing anything. They're on fucking Netflix. I've seen
People
it.
play games.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. So
Grey's
don't panic. If
Anatomy.
you see people doing more than they need to, like maybe take a peek because they might be doing something. You know, you might want to.
Worthwhile.
Yeah, but don't panic. Like it's your own journey. Take your time.
Yeah.
Make sure you do it what works for you. And some people in lectures they'll have their laptop on. The lecturer think they're doing
It's like
bits.
we're
They're
listening to the
playing
same
games.
thing, but they're taking in something completely
Yeah,
different.
nah.
Like they'll be talking about something, and then they're typing out. Are you typing this down word for word, or
Yeah.
how are you processing
You
this?
know, I don't want to turn this into like some mean thing, but you know, there's those people in your lecture. There's the artists, the ones who make everything so pretty.
Oh,
Oh, you mean them girls that have
Yeah,
like 10,
I like,
20 different...
this guy said girls straight away.
First of all, you're doing psychology. Second of all...
No, I'm talking in general.
No, but I'm
Don't
talking
try to
about
fit
them,
on
man,
me.
that have like 20 different color pens that were in
Yeah,
class in high school. Man had the mad ruler, the flexible thing as well.
Yeah, bro. I
The
go
mad
into my
pencil
lecture
case.
with a pen and sometimes paper. Like that's what I go into lecture with most of the time. I don't really take my laptop because I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. Although to be fair, in a lot of situations, I think once again it depends on you. For me, it doesn't really work. The only time I might do that is if I won't use my laptop because I don't like typing notes. But sometimes you can print out the lecture before the lecture. The lecture slides before the lecture.
oh, and annotate.
Yeah. That's decent. That's not bad. Like if you're only annotate, and it's important that you do things with sense. Don't be an idiot. Do you know what I mean? Don't do it just to look like you're doing something. The lecturer don't care. Like in uni, that's one thing you learn. Lecturers don't give a monkeys. They don't care about you at all. Like if you don't turn up, they might send you one email. They don't actually care. Like if you
That's
fail,
an automated system
if you
as well.
you know that one.
not even
If you
them.
fail, it's on you. So like you don't need to show up and try and show up for your lecture. They don't care. But unless you're trying to get a reference, or unless you're just a teacher's pet or something. But like make sure you do what makes sense for you. So in those situations, if you get lecture slides and print them out, I'd recommend that you highlight what's important, even though everything's going to be important. They shouldn't overwrite on their slides, but just take notes of the things they say verbally but aren't on the slides. Because sometimes they're golden. Like they might say, "Oh, this article," and you might want to just quickly, jot that down. But yeah, sorry.
No. But as far as university though, do you feel like the Newcastle Uni gives you enough for your education? Are the facilities good for your course, like what you do?
Yeah, I think. My course doesn't need that many facilities. Like, I just need maybe a couple calculators and a nice lecture hall for maths, and then psychology. To be fair, it might depend on your modules. The modules I've done so far, nothing's been kind of hands-on. The experiments we've done, or like the surveys and studies we've done, we don't need facilities like that. To be fair, for one of my maths modules, it was kind of computing. It was like coding. So we obviously need the software, but it's not really anything the university can't provide you. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, I feel like if someone did engineering and they didn't have enough equipment, or medicine and there's no 2 people per dummy, do you know what I mean? That's different. But you don't really need that much, just lecture hall.
And your lecturers, how are they? They're good? Do they respond?
Everyone has their favorites. No, I think my lecturers anyway, they tend to respond quite well. I'd say I'm quite lucky because I feel like psychology, obviously it's just the nature of the subject, you know, the brain, thinking, mental health, all that stuff. I think they just get it a bit more. So like if you need help, they just get it. Do you know what I mean? Like they're willing to just understand and recognize that, you know, you might be struggling. Let me just do a bit more for you. Math side is, I mean, they've all been nice. I haven't really needed much from maths, to be fair, but yeah, I've never had any issues with anything of that sort.
Just a side note, I realized the system was crooked when we did psychology and we did the working memory model in A level, and they tell you to your face like the human brain can only retain so much information in an hour, and I'm like, why shouldn't we structure our education differently? Like,
yeah, but how many years do you want to study then? Do you want to study till you're 35?
No. That's if we keep the same amount of content. If
so you want our country to be behind everyone else?
See, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Like there's the competition with the other countries.
And once again, like you're meant to take your work and go out and
it's not meant to just be in that hour time.
Screw them. Listen, we can only do so much as people.
Tough, you do
they
nothing.
know this.
You do nothing.
They know this and make fucking 2-hour lectures. Yeah, thinking something's happening.
Yeah, but do they not give you
PowerPoint.
breaks? They give me breaks.
Oh, sometimes
for a 2-hour lecture, I might
lecture,
get.
Some people don't care.
For a 2-hour lecture, I might get 3 breaks, but I'll keep
3 breaks.
Yeah.
In a 2-hour lecture.
2-hour lecture, give me 3 breaks.
I mean, once again, this is psychology.
Mad.
In maths, I've never had more than an hour.
I remember my first
But
year.
psychology, as I said, they just understand, innit? Like literally in psychology, like you
because they're probably using their heads.
As you said, they know how humans learn best.
Yeah.
So why would they then go against that to teach you how humans should learn best?
Yeah,
This man had 3 hour lectures. They gave me 1 break after an hour and a
but
half.
psychology, it makes sense to have that many breaks.
fair
Because they understand, and it's one of those things where like in psychology we learn about motivation, we learn about how humans learn and take in information. And I was just thinking, surely this is a hack.
Yeah.
Like I'm out here learning how to learn.
Yeah, I was
Surely it's a
reading
hack.
a book on that. Yeah, there's recency and there's primacy. So primacy is basically the first thing you learn. If we're talking about an education sense, like the first thing you learn is what you're going to remember because it's the first thing. Then recency is probably the last thing you learn.
And the things in the middle,
and then the things in the middle get lost.
There's loads of
And
studies on that.
They know it as the Pomodoro technique when it comes to education.
I can't lie, these words, I feel like using the wrong words. They might be right.
No.
but
Pomodoro
those
technique
words
is
don't ring a bell.
that method of studying where they say study for 20 minutes and take a break. So that's the name for that method of studying, and it uses those techniques of recency and primacy. That's why it's short, to reduce the amount of in-between information that's lost.
Yeah, that's fair. I
So
agree
I'm
with that.
like-
I don't revise for
You
too
really
long.
know more about Terrell's course than you do on your own.
Oh, I'm not. That's not even Terrell's course. That's just
That's psychology. That's like
No, I
That's
mean, it is
learning,
psychology.
that's just
man's
learning about
reciting
learning.
bare, but they
No.
ask you what the fuck is the powerhouse of the cell. Your head is gone.
Okay, well done, Tom. Well done. Well done.
You know,
that's
what's
just
funny though?
learning
First year, I
about
remember
learning.
we used to talk about psychology a lot, me and Tav.
Yeah.
So this guy, Loki, he wishes he was on my course. In fact, I swear you said you wanted to come to one of my lectures one time.
Yeah. I'm that.
Nigga, you
He
don't
doesn't
go
go
to
to his own
your own.
lectures, but he want to come to my lectures.
Look what you're doing to the sound. Look what you're doing to the sound.
Nah, you fucking normal. I know,
Bad.
bro.
Tom
Allow me.
likes to eat the microphone.
Is that what we're on?
Look at the sound, please. Look at the sound. But yeah, just, use it. I feel like psychology is useful in that sense. Well, my idea of psychology is like a little fantasy of like, well, you're learning bare stuff that's useful for the course, like these brain tricks and hacks and motivation and stuff.
That's a good thing because actually, part of the reason because we have to do what's it called a personal statement. Is that for the UCAS to get onto?
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, what I wrote in my personal statement is I mentioned how I used to just go onto YouTube and just type in life hacks or like psychological life hacks and stuff like that. And obviously, I won't say what I was using them for, but
Oh, so you were using them for revision?
huh? No, this is for my
I know
personal
exactly
statement.
what
This is
you're
what-
I thought he was using them for revision.
No, this is for my personal
Not what
statement.
mature Terrell was using them for. What was first year Terrell using?
Wait, no,
Brainwashing.
wait, no. This is my personal statement to get into you.
Oh, so sixth form Terrell. That's even worse.
But no, and one of the techniques is called I think it's called door and foot or door and mouth. No, door and foot. And I mentioned it in my personal statement, and I'm telling you right now, my personal statement was the best personal statement ever. No cap. So I implemented a joke into my personal statement. So I mentioned how I like psychology. I'm interested in it because and for joint honors, you want to break your personal statement 50-50 if you can. So like half of it on one and the other half on the other. Logic. And I mentioned how in my spare time I tend to just go onto the internet, look at life hacks, blah blah blah. And I mentioned one of them, for example, the door and foot. And what that is you ask for something big, to get something slightly smaller. So, for example, if you want a pet dog, you ask for a horse, and it's like, no, you can't get a horse. Oh, can I get a dog? Okay, like that's psychologically proven that that's more likely to happen. So in my personal statement, I said, oh, can I said some rubbish like, oh, so I hope you guys accept me on this PhD offer, blah blah blah. You know, the whole, you know, like I made a reference to
So
that.
if not, I'll settle for a degree.
Yeah, something like that. Do you know what I mean? Just a little bit of humor in there, you know, just so that the people reading it think, oh, this guy's got a bit of banter, all of that.
And could you give us your hardest assignment and then your easiest assignment? Could be an exam as well, like hardest or easiest task to do that you've done in uni.
I could probably give you hardest, easiest, and favorite.
Yeah.
So my hardest one, which in hindsight I don't think is that hard, but everyone kind of flopped it. The very first coding exam we had, like that was the first time I thought I had failed at like full stop. Like it was bad. I think I got like 40 something. So I just passed, right? But by far the worst thing I've ever done in my life. Oh, I want to
So
cry.
they sprung coding on you, like?
No, like it was the module, and we were using RStudio, and I guess it was new for all of us. I don't know why everyone did so badly, because everyone did badly. Like no one did well. But then the second one we had, so we did two different like coding websites, whatever they're called, MATLAB and RStudio. Everyone like messed up the RStudio one. It was worth like 30% of our grade, so it was pretty important. But then MATLAB, I feel like everyone did quite well. So I'm not really sure why it was so difficult or what happened or whether we just got given hard questions or whatnot. But that was, maybe it wasn't the hardest, but that was when I did the worst one. And I hated it. Like I liked that module a lot. It was probably one of my favorite modules. But that assignment, disgraceful. Everything else is great. My easiest, module was the statistics in psychology. Like, come on, like I do maths. Like when I saw that, I was just
specific
like,
to you, just to be clear, because
100%. I mean,
statistics killed me and probably killed some other people.
Yeah,
too.
but obviously, doing maths probably means I'm more inclined to do well in it. But I say overall, I don't even know what like the overall easiest psychology module would have been. To be fair, I say it was all kind of even. If I'm honest, there wasn't anything that was too standout. Nothing was too hard, too difficult, or too easy. But then my favorite was the video essay by far. That was my favorite assignment. My favorite module was the social psychology one, because I don't know if you remember when I came home one time and I just told you guys loads of things I learned in psychology. Like I just I think the man were in the front room and I was just like, guys, listen.
Oh,
this is
broke down.
Why
the man them are failing in class? I remember.
No, yeah, like
it changed my perspective.
Yeah, so for example, one of the studies, so it was social psychology and we touched on prejudice and racism and stuff like that.
Taff, you don't need to ask Terrell why you're failing in class.
Oh, well done, Tom.
You don't need to ask.
This guy wakes up when it's time for jokes.
But so in a nutshell, I'll summarize it very quickly. So let's say there's a group of white people and a group of black people doing the exact same task, but they're told like the two groups are split between black and white people. So there's black and white people in both groups. And let's say the task is it's a task on sports psychology. Black and white people perform similarly, or they just performed, relatively well, just in general. Then they were told this is a test of intelligence. And when the title of the test or the title of the, whatever they were doing was titled intelligence, black people suddenly did worse. It's the exact same thing, but because of the word intelligence, black people did worse. Because of the stereotype, black people are stupid, blah, 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 all the terrible stereotypes. And things of that sort kind of just mad, isn't it? Like the title of something will change how black people perform.
Same thing happened with men and women, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was, I think in a classroom, like I didn't know there was the stereotype, to be honest, but like men are better than women at maths apparently, or like there's a stereotype. So when women do a maths exam in a room full of men, women will do worse. Or in a room featuring men, women will do worse. So I think in this study, women got like 55% average, like a mean 55% score. But when they were in a room with just women doing the exact same test, 70% mean average. And that's just because men are in there, men aren't. So it's like a lot of stuff like that, just fascinating. So that was probably my favorite module. And I'm actually going to probably do my dissertation on something related to social psychology. But but my favorite assignment by far was that video essay. It was just quality. Like, it was just fun to do. And it was a good module as well. It was on personality. So like the big 5 factor personality model, which is pretty interesting.
And now just nearing the end of the conversation now, how did your time in uni or just your course affect your mental health, if it had an effect on your mental health? Just the stress that you hear about when people talk about uni.
Yeah, I'd say I wouldn't really say my course itself affected my mental health. I think uni as a whole did, unfortunately.
So it's in like leaving, just being in a different city, or the workload.
It's hard to pinpoint because obviously everyone has a different experiences. I know that a lot of people have struggled with their mental health, and I feel like obviously I can only talk for the people I know, but I know more black people, but I know a lot of black people kind of have struggled with their mental health, and it happens to be in unis which are kind of predominantly white, or like where there's a very big like disparity between black and white people. So I feel like that plays a bit of a factor. So I'd say my course hasn't played a factor at all, if I'm honest. I actually like my course. So but I'd say it's just, and it's difficult to say because I liked uni, like I love uni, like uni's lit. Like first year was lit. Like first year was probably one of the best years of my life, but I also struggled the most mentally too. So it's very hard to kind of explain that to someone who doesn't understand. But yeah, I think, yeah, I don't even know how to really answer that. It's just uni can just be mentally taxing in so many different ways. You know, you've got different expectations, different pressures. You know, there's the social pressures of I need to make friends. You know, some people may find that easier than others. Then there's the expectation of, you know, maintaining those friends. Then there's your, you know, course mates. Then you've got, you know, your educational needs, and then you've the realization that, wait a minute, I'm in uni to get a job. Now it's like job, and then it's like money, student finance, and then house for next year, and the house is debt. Like there's so many things which just add up, like, you know, just add, and then, you know, you might you know, have some mental health struggles. So yeah, once again, nothing to do with the course. The course is fantastic. I'd recommend it. But it's just uni just gets difficult, really.
Okay. And then any advice you'd give to someone wanting to do joint honours that you might have liked to know, a little heads up for anyone doing that?
To be honest, I wouldn't really say there's anything that I wish I'd known before, but I would say that don't be scared to do joint honours if you don't know. Like for me, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I chose joint honours because it gave me loads of, I felt like it gave me the most depth. So I know that I previously mentioned that I went to some networking events, and when I was at JP Morgan, one of the people who work in human resources actually said that he was fascinated by my course because it was, you know, quite a unique course. Like you don't hear psychology and maths very often. And he mentioned how the psychology aspect, like he focused on the psychology aspect, saying that that's really useful for this industry. But then at the same time, as I said to you before, I'm just finished an internship doing like assurance, which is audit, which is, you know, basically accounting. That's the maths aspect of my course now. So I say with joint honours, don't be afraid to do joint honours. I think it can open a lot of doors, especially if you don't know what you want to do. I think it's important to not put too much pressure on yourself to know what you want to do, because for example, like when I was applying to internships and stuff like that, I didn't know I had a plan, like I had 2 plans, and obviously fortunately one of them has worked, but they were both in completely different industries. So I feel like with joint honours, just make the most of both of them. And honestly, if you're doing joint honours, make sure you're doing what you enjoy. It makes it so much easier. So right now I'm going through social psychology, just not even too seriously, but it's just amazing to read. Obviously my dissertation is going to be on it, and yeah, not really too much advice, just be confident to do it. Make sure you follow up on anything. You might not get registered for stuff just because of poor communication between the departments. I'd say just make sure you're on the ball in that aspect, and which is annoying because there's so much pressure in uni in general. But I'd say with joint honours, there's that added aspect of make sure that you're there if you need to be there, because you may not be able to catch up, or for example, as I said to you before, the psychology single honours, they already knew one of the modules I was doing, so it's like make sure you catch up. But you don't need to catch up, you'll do fine, but be aware that if other people on your course are ahead of you, it's okay, because universities aren't stupid. Like they may have bad communication, as I said, but they're not stupid. Like they won't put you on something and you won't be able to catch up if you're starting from scratch. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I say don't worry too much. Enjoy yourself. I mean, that's not really a joint honours suggestion, but in uni, make the most of it. It's not, uni's more than just your degree. Your degree won't get you a job. Well, I mean, some degrees might. Like you might literally do that and then you're a doctor, so fair enough. But like, get the most out of your university experience. That's my number one like tip by far.
And just to build on that, like anything further, any more advice you give for someone coming to uni?
As I said to you before, just dive in. So like for me, as I mentioned before, like I made that group chat and I met these guys in the group chat actually. Like they were both in the group chat. Me and Taf messaged each other. And then you told me to come to your accommodation in it, and then that's when I met.
It was for free.
Yeah, and then that's when I met, you know, yeah, this guy. And I think I met David, some other people, and then things just moved from there.
Oh no, you only knew Toby.
Yeah. But Toby, from the group chat, because we made the group chat, and I'd say it's good to have a society, like a number one society and a number one sport. So for me, basketball, boom, and ACS, boom. That's kind of what I think, because I feel like you need something physical. Obviously, if you go gym, maybe that's fair enough. But for me, especially if you did sport growing up, there's so many university teams, or there's like
local teams as well.
yeah, there's like between like intramural, is that what's called? Intramural sports, I think, something like that.
You mean like the club teams?
Yeah, so like for example, my psychology as a football team versus maths football team, that type of stuff. Maybe that's a Newcastle thing, maybe not Northumberland.
Just to add to what Terrell's saying, essentially, like the way I'm understanding is, if you do a sport for fun, carry on doing that sport for fun, and like find there's plenty of opportunities in every uni really to just do a sport and continue doing that. Don't stop. Yeah. Because it's probably a big part of your life.
If you go to Northumbria, you don't have to play at the most competitive levels. For a lot of our sports, we have like obviously the first team, second team, third team, then the club teams.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The club teams.
Like I know, I think for us, our clubs were just the overall uni. I think what you were saying was different. I think the Newcastle is different because
I was mentioning.
You guys have like sport teams for like each.
Yeah, so I was mentioning clubs. So I was trying to mention all of it in one. So like the club in terms of like, so I'm vice president of a basketball club, and we just have a general club where you can come on Sundays, scrimmage, or like just train for fun, and that's it. And then there's obviously the actual team, and then there's the intramural, which is, so the actual team represents the uni against, these bums, or against like Leeds and stuff like that. And then there's okay, cool. I mean, we smacked you lot. PJ, PJ, you know what? Yeah, PJ, I'm coming for you. I've seen you on the podcast. The way we slapped you, anyway. And then there's like intramural. So for example, I mentioned my psychology might have a football team versus the ACS. They have a football team. So psychology, they played ACS. Do you know what I mean? So stuff like that. Honestly, just dive into uni, because if you don't, you might be lonely and you might not make friends, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to be a Lawrence where you're in fucking a cafe reading One Piece. You want to be doing Take Me Out on stage. Yeah. Honestly, I'm just thinking about that one. That was funny, man.
Well, what's it called? You know the intramural one? Is it for this actual psychology subject, or is it for psychology society?
Society.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure. I don't really know, to be honest, because I didn't go to psychology society or math society. I signed up for them though, but I didn't really need to. I didn't feel like I needed to, because I feel like with a joint honors, my one anyway, because it's so small, like I made my friends very easily. Like my group of people who I could like go to for like advice for work and stuff. Shout out to Milo, Erica, who else am I missing? If I miss you, don't worry. But and then obviously I then made my friends outside, like you lot. I made basketball friends. So just integrate yourself into uni as much as you can, because it will help you in so many different ways. Like for example, I didn't know like I could suspend my studies and then come back where I paused it. So I paused my studies for a year, came back. Like I didn't know I could do that if I didn't fully integrate myself into uni. I didn't know I could. You know what I mean? There's loads of things you don't know. Like there's loads of opportunities, like career workshops. You won't know if you're not part of the uni, or at least kind of on campus type of thing. So that's what I'd recommend. I know a lot of people come to uni, especially black people, will come to uni and they'll just kind of stay away from the uni as a whole. But don't integrate yourself wherever you can. You don't need to be fake. You don't need to force it, but just make sure you're doing something more than just your degree, in my opinion, because it helps you beyond just uni, beyond all of that. So and take up leadership roles if you can, because it's fulfilling, frustrating, as you know, but fulfilling.
It's hard to run an ACS event and people only show up on this food.
That's literally what you do.
That's
literally. In fact, the first time I heard that was from you.
No.
You said it's their food.
No. We don't.
That's what you used to always ask. I used to ask Tafa first year. You go to ACS.
In fact, wasn't Manny on the podcast?
Yo, I don't know what
was Manny on the podcast.
We need to round this up.
Has Manny been on the podcast?
Manny. When you were president for Northumbria, this guy
Yes.
would only show up if you had food.
He would only show.
No, Manny. I know the struggle. Come on,
Manny, remember?
He knows the struggle after.
Manny, remember the Christmas? Manny, remember the Christmas dinner first year? You only went because of food.
Okay.
Wait, I'm sorry, that's retarded. I'm sorry, that's so stupid.
That
It's a Christmas dinner.
Oh, sorry,
what are you turning up for? What are you turning up for?
So actually, it wasn't called a Christmas dinner. It was just a Christmas party first year. Oh yeah, it was a Christmas dinner.
Okay.
Oh, fair enough.
Nearing the end now. What life lessons do you feel like uni's taught you, in terms of like, what have you just learned about life from coming to uni that you didn't know before?
I learned that a lot of people are incompetent.
Oh God.
No, I'm being so serious. There are so many incompetent people in this world. And like that's more, I guess it's more from working while I've been in uni. So I'm now like an adult and I'm working in the working world because I have a job and whatnot. But like, people are incompetent, and like I know you should always respect your elders, but I'm keeping it 100 with you. If you're like older than 18, like they should respect you too. Like there's so many incompetent people in this world. So that's kind of what I learned. It's not really a good lesson. I'd say another lesson I learned is kind of I've generally improved time management. I've kind of valued time management, and I've also recognized the importance of doing things outside of what you're doing. As in, so for example, doing things outside of uni. Like a lot of people I know, a lot of people I know like who just do uni. There's nothing else fulfilling, if that makes sense. So like I know, for example, when I want to go into work, I want at least some sort of scrape of work-life balance somewhere. So when these men are mocking me for playing Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh and all this shit, like I'm having a good time. Yeah. And also, I want to make it clear:
shame on
Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, chess, Formula 1, NBA 2K, FIFA. I'll smack anyone.
First of all, I wasn't
anyone.
I wasn't making
anything.
fun of him. No, I was making fun of him because he plays games, because of the way he presented.
And it's not
I'm
even just
sorry,
gaming,
we
bro.
let Tom get
Basketball.
away. Nah, because of the way he presented
Mini
what
golf.
he was doing in his spare time.
Paintballing.
You made man. He was trying to make himself look like he's a fucking
bowling.
We let Tom get
Archery.
away with an imaginary car, thinking he's Iron Man, fam. No, Tony stuck in a
Go-karting.
Taff, you just watch anime all day. At least this boy is doing something that's challenging his mind.
Exactly.
You ain't doing nothing, bro.
So now the games are challenging his mind.
You fucking bum.
Who's telling more lies? Him or you?
The Pokemon can allow it. But
Wait, lies. What lie am I telling?
No.
oh, apparently I'm lying that the game challenging your mind. Because F1 he puts in effort. The rest of them I can't talk.
man.
But you don't do nothing.
Wait, chess.
You
chess.
said, he plays chess as well.
Speaking
You
of
said
chess,
all he
Taff
does
don't
is
want
play
nothing about
games.
chess.
Yeah.
He don't want nothing about
He
chess.
did Taff.
Right, slap this guy up in chess.
Okay.
He'll never play me again. Taff, wait, look.
Okay.
Taff,
And
do you want to play chess?
Just the final two questions, yeah. All right. Wins, losses, and lessons while at uni so far.
Okay, win is definitely, securing the internship. And I'm waiting for the graduate offer confirmation email. So they offered me a grad role. So that's definitely a win. Sorting all of that out. Lesson, the incompetence. Like I know, like everyone can give you general lessons. Everyone, there's generic lessons.
hit
But
you hard.
listen, people are so
Do you
incompetent.
have a story or like what was the moment that idea came in? Like what happened?
Like
it just clicked.
It wasn't while I was, that's why I say make sure you do loads of different things while you're in uni, because you just get life experiences. But sometimes working in societies, you see shit and you're just like incompetent. You're working with other university societies and you think to yourself, incompetent. No, not you, but you know what I'm saying.
Not
Listen,
me, but I know exactly who you're talking
you know the
about.
ones.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
I can't even argue.
I just think
I
incompetent.
cannot argue.
And then when I was working, just while I was in uni, just making a bit of money on the side, like the people, like the adults I was working with, like incompetent, and it's like I'm entering this working world, like basically you can do it. Like you can do it. Like there's people who are older than you, they're not better than you. I promise you. You're gonna come, you're gonna take their job, and you're gonna be happy. So just make sure you grind and do a good job. And what losses?
Yeah.
Losses is tough because there's a lot of losses, like personal losses. But I think the main loss is 2020. We lost that year, man.
Yeah. That's
I know that's not what you're
whole
asking
year
for,
was lost.
but that was lost. And what was lost with that as well is that whole, in-person communication with people in general. So, for example, let's say you're coming back from, and I guess it's not a personal loss, but if you're coming back from like a year out, and your first year is, in fact, if you're a first year coming to uni, your first year's in COVID, no lectures, no
freshers.
in-person.
Yeah.
Tom, why are you so excited about freshers, bro?
Freshers was fun.
Anyway, but yeah, if I'm being honest, that year was just lost. Like I had so many plans for that year because I took a year out, and my year out just happened. COVID hit like a month later, like kind of bullshit. So I say that was my loss. I missed out on a lot of time. However, during that time, I did manage to sort out stuff for like career and stuff. But yeah, losses, it's a bit difficult because there's so many small losses. Do you know what I mean? But I think it's fair to say that 2020 year overall was just a huge loss.
Sorry, I don't think we asked you. While going for the social life with this course, like, do you think it still leaves ample amount of time for your social life, or do you think it's one of the courses that kind of take over large portions?
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to ask because you're basically just asking how many lectures and stuff like that, like contact hours. So for you or like engineering, I remember because shout out Andre, I remember I used to see his timetable. Mad. Like engineering would have you're in 9 to 5 every day.
First year, they don't care about you, baby.
Like bro, like
care.
I was blessed. Like I didn't have that many lectures. I had quite a lot compared to like some of my housemates, but nowhere near engineering. So like you might have maybe what you'll have enough time. Like I mean, you guys saw me about like I had enough time to do my thing and
I'm picking.
yeah have. I wasn't even doing something like that back then. Back then, no. If I hear the outro music now, I'll be pissed. But no. I was playing basketball.
No, to be fair, back then he wasn't playing games.
That's when I was playing basketball 24/7.
It's
COVID made me start playing new things.
It's when he started living with these niggas. That's what happened. I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah, I caught bum.
He caught bug, especially off this one. Just lucky he didn't stop going lecture.
Yo, end the thing. What was that?
I don't know.
What the hell was that?
What that was.
Yo, I didn't
Real
catch
quick,
that.
is uni a scam? Yes or no?
No, it's not. And you know what? Thank you. People who say uni is a scam, I wholeheartedly think you're either not doing uni right or you're just retarded. Let me not say retarded. Edit that
Jesus.
out. You're just stupid because
We're not
what uni provides you, if you do uni properly, what?
Funny thing, I'm not gonna lie. I think Taff, after the last time we recorded, Taff was like, guys, we're gonna have to stop cursing on the podcast.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. I didn't get no
Let's make it harder
disclaimer.
for us
This
to
guy
get
swore
views.
first, and I just thought, okay, let's just continue.
I still haven't stopped cursing. I already told him it's gonna be hard to do.
Ooh.
No, I told him it's gonna be hard to do. 'Cause
By the way, uni's not a scam. I think if you think it's a scam, you're not doing it right, or you're not seeing the bigger picture. Because fundamentally, whether uni is needed as an overall society for people to get jobs and stuff, maybe you can talk about that. Like maybe if uni wasn't a thing, like you wouldn't need it. Okay, that's stupid. But because uni is here and you fundamentally need uni to get certain jobs, it's not a scam. Like if you come to uni and then you just want to do something which requires nothing to do with your degree, in terms of like a degree won't even help you go into that industry at all, or like maybe if you're an entrepreneur and you're studying, I don't know, arts, but like you were never gonna do anything with art. You were never gonna apply for a grad role. Then obviously it's a scam.
I don't
I
think
think-
that
no,
makes uni a
wait,
scam.
for-
That just means you're scamming yourself, big man.
There we go.
No.
That's what I mean. Uni's not a scam. You're scamming yourself if you don't do it right.
For those who lack purpose, it's a scam. Because someone could do joint honors like you and have no idea
Exactly,
what
I
they
had
want
no
to do.
idea.
Leave uni and be like, nah, that was a scam. I did psychology and maths and I don't have a job. Well, you didn't try.
I've never heard someone leave uni with a first class and call it a scam. Have you?
Yeah.
I've only heard people. I've got to send some unis. I'm joking.
Yeah.
I've only heard people. No, I'm joking. No, but it's only people who do badly in uni or people who don't get a job after who call it a
Yeah,
scam.
or even don't go to uni.
If you don't have
People
purpose,
drop
fam,
out. That was the-
Oh yeah,
so
but
uni's a scam. Like,
it's not a scam at all.
the people that
In my
don't do
opinion.
anything complain the most, and the people that do the most don't complain.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at what uni's done overall, like, okay, for me personally, made some great friends.
Hey,
Good start. Just tick that box. Obviously, do my degree. From my degree and from being in uni, I got the internship, which is potentially going to get me the grad scheme, which is going to set me for like the next few years. I've got experience in ACS, leading a society. That's kind of just leadership skills, just develop you as a person, understanding like the insides of organizations or businesses to an extent. Obviously, it's a society, but you kind of run it like a business.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then obviously I've just played basketball, which is just fantastic. And all of that's within the uni circle. I've moved out from home, learned how to live away from home, taught my family to understand that I might not reply for a few days, but it's okay. I still love you guys.
yeah,
That's
that's a big one.
the amount I get.
It takes
the
a
amount I
long
get.
time to teach your family.
Yeah, I get.
Yeah,
I
it's
get.
a long
I need
time
to do
to
better. I need to do better. I'll be honest. I need to do better. But like generally, uni's more than just a degree, and that's the one thing I want to push. Like, it's way more than just your degree. Like, you can get so much from uni.
I
Like
have
you
a quote. Yeah, that's what I think.
say the quote then. This guy's interrupting.
So it's from that movie. I think it's called Life. Soul. It's from the movie Soul, where it's like
Oh, what,
there's
the
a-
Disney thing?
Yeah, the Disney
Yeah.
one. There's a big fish. There's an adult fish and a child fish. The child fish asks the adult fish, "Yo, so when do I get into the sea? Like, where's the sea at?" And then the big fish looks at him like, "Bro, you're in the sea right now. Like, uni, like that's the way I understand it. That's life, innit? I was deep in it. Like, we go from these steps, like primary school, secondary school, A level, uni. We think that there's steps and then life starts after those steps. But bro, life starts. Like, you don't deep it, but life started as soon as you were born. Like, it's not after uni. Like, you're in the sea, my guy. Like, wake up. Like, it's not about after uni. It's like right
don't know.
now it's happening.
I don't know. It's like, I guess it's happening, but
This guy said, believe it or not,
No,
life starts when
for
you're
me,
born.
it's like, it didn't really start until I had control over what was going on.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, because I think, like, them ones, it's like, life has started, but you're in autopilot mode.
Yeah, you're going through the motions.
Yeah, there's more time. All your
mandatory,
decisions are being made for you.
To an
For a
extent.
decent amount.
Yeah.
Especially for a good portion of your life. Especially because, listen, we're only at 21. So for a good portion of our lives, our decisions were made for us, most of them anyway. So, like, I think for me, life started once I at least started getting control. Not when I had complete control, but when I started having control over my decisions.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I understand that fully. That's why I'm like, because we're in that autopilot mode, you think life starts at a certain point. But bro, whether you don't have control or don't have control, you need to wake up and realize it started. Like if you're 16 watching this, 18 watching this, like before uni, deep that uni, life doesn't start at uni. Like where you are right now, life starts. So you need to start moving correctly, moving with purpose, not going through the motions, like waking up and asking yourself why you're making these decisions. Like, do you want to go to uni and stuff like that? Because you'll go to uni and then you'll be complacent because you're doing a course for other people, like your parents, or you're doing a course because you don't really know why you're doing a course, and then you'll complain that, oh, it's a scam, or I hated uni, because you didn't like know why you did it. So I'm just saying.
But then there's a nigga like me doing the course just because I wanted to, and it's vibes. Uni's life.
I chose my course. Like, actually, I didn't know what I was going to do when I was in 16. I saw 17. I was like,
I don't know, knew what I wanted to do a few months
I was
ago.
like, okay, maybe I need
Do I even
to
wanna do it?
decide. Because 18, I was like, okay, maybe. Because I already had a good ideas. Listen, it was predetermined by my parents, but I had some choice, I guess. I was like, I already know these man will allow me to do no art subjects or anything like that. So it's like, it's one of them ones, it was kind of, it was already there.
I always find that tough.
Listen.
Like, my family's always just been like, from day dot, just been like, do whatever, like hand on heart, like just do whatever you want. Like I've never really even been told don't do something. Like I've never been a dickhead. Like I'm not gonna go stab someone. I'm not a bad person. I'm not gonna do anything mad. I'm not gonna, do you know what I mean? I've always been a good child fundamentally. So maybe that's made it easier. But like I've never once ever been pushed in one direction by my family, or like I think I'm quite lucky in that regard because I know a lot of black people I know like they've always been pushed. Like I've just never ever even been touched.
I wasn't.
Wait, can we pause this conversation and then continue it in
on
Uni
the second
Chronicles?
on
Yeah.
Uni Chronicles.
Just for time, innit?
Anyway, this is 116.
Yeah, damn. Yeah, catch us on part 2. This has been Sliders Podcast. I've been your host, Who's Taf. You found out on the pod. And who else have we had here?
What is Tom? Found out on the streets.
The way this guy takes so long to come up with his outro is mad.
Yeah.
Like you can look at this guy and you can see him thinking like, tick, 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 tick. No, this guy's.
Can I realize what's it called? What's it called? What's Mo again? What does Mo say again?
Mo says Moby-Wan Kenobi.
No, what's his first? He said...
He just says Mo.
No,
and
because
that's
he
it.
says who is Taf. Mo says something else.
When is Mo?
There, yes. No,
where
I
is
was
Mo?
make sure I'm not saying Mo.
Oh, and it takes you that long to think who, what, where, when.
How did
I'm
we
not
get
saying
right
where's
there?
Tom. Oh, where's Tom? Maybe. And we've been joined by...
Oh, Terrell. Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on Spotify and all other major streaming
Yeah, make this the
platforms.
most liked video because I'm in it.
Background
The
score.
end. Yeah.
And what's it called?
No.
We're also on Apple. Are we on?
Yeah, we're on
Podcasts?
Apple, Spotify, every streaming platform.
Apple, banana, pear. Watermelons.
These dad jokes.
Fucking dad.
These dad jokes.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, but what's it called? Everything except for SoundCloud, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Big Man is 2021, Big Man.
You have to leave SoundCloud alone.
Leave SoundCloud
Let
alone.
SoundCloud die.
Yo, Big Man, you're not on Spotify, doesn't
I
it?
said
Yeah.
let SoundCloud down.
But yeah, also make sure you share with your friends. Make sure we did really well on our last video post. I'm surprised we did better than in a short amount of time. We got a decent amount of views. So
Send it to your
That's-
enemies because
that's-
your enemies pay more attention to you than your friends.
fact.
Keep that in mind.
That's right, love it.
That's
Wait,
I'm
what did
saying.
you say?
It doesn't matter.
Send it to your enemies because your enemies pay more attention to you than your friends.
But why would you send us to your enemies?
Is that not just another
Because
view?
he wishes well for all.
Wait, why are you complaining? That's just another
He
view.
wishes well for
I mean, yeah, nigga,
Why would I thought you complaining?
But why would they pay more attention to us than... Listen, all right, sliding out.